All right, let's get going. Let's see here. So what am I doing today? I did actually get the Quest side loading. And let me just make sure the stream's looking all good. Yep, seems decent. Is that true? Yes, sorry. Right, okay. So what I'm trying to do is I think there's some other things I do need to do, but I think I really want to try right now in this moment to do the one thing I've been putting off for a long time, which is actually see if I can get the pass-through API camera working with Godot on the Quest 3. I have a Quest 3 now. I got side loading working. This all works. I had to do a whole, I had to do a whole rewrite, not a rewrite, but had to get Android.a.so files built so that I could actually deploy this app onto the headset, because before it would only work on Windows because I'd only built for that scenario. So solved all that. Finally, the app again works well on the headset. So yeah, now like there's a bunch of like the OCR takes over a minute, which is really annoying. And before it was taking 10 seconds, now it's taking a minute. I gotta address that. But before any of that even matters, can I even get an image off of the Quest camera? I know they opened up the API. That seems to be largely for Unity and not Godot at this moment. But let me see if I can get that working. So let me clean up some of these things. Converting bold to text. Yeah, fine, I did that. Does any of this matter? What was I searching for here? Oh yeah, get singleton. Yeah, no, that's fine. Don't need that. Also that. Perform, you know, I'll keep that up. Yeah, because I also saw some jitter that I wanted to deal with, and again, I'm not going to worry about that. Not yet, anyway. Can't build for Android. I solved this. I don't have that issue anymore. What was this? I don't think this is important anymore. Scon's building Android on Windows. All that's been solved. Right, just trying to understand the difference between those files. I don't think any of that's an issue anymore. I don't need to look at Leptonica. That's not an issue. And then, right, looking at people who are doing Android builds, that all works. This, I don't think I need to care about this, but I'll keep it up for now. This is like Skybox stuff, but I have a Skybox, so. Oh yeah, let's see. Have you guys updated at all? Nope. Been a month. Last month for that release. Textures, I'll get to that, but I don't need to care about textures just yet. Yeah. OCR stuff. The string class in Godot. Let's just kill things we know we don't need. De-skewing is something I may have to do. where is that library I was looking for? Okay, I probably don't need this anymore because I finally got exporting working. I mean, I may have to do some steps here that I skipped. I gotta add an icon and things, but don't really need that. This all works now. So that's cool. Yeah. One-click deploy. Right. Yeah, the ADB commands, been doing a lot of those, which is useful. I won't say much more than that. Okay, I think I'm done with this. One-click deploys, that's fine. Okay. Camera 2, where is the... Darn it, where is that library? Why did that bump down? Did I save it somewhere, hopefully? What am I doing? GitHub. Did I star it? Or is there another window somewhere where I saved it? Oh yes, okay. So I spent a bunch of, I've got too many windows open. Yeah, ADB. This is running from the command line, which I've heard some people absolutely swear by running Godot from the command line. I think because you can get extra logs and things, which I did find useful a little bit, but it's also kind of a pain. And I don't have good terminal set up on Windows at the moment. Oh, I think here we are, maybe. Print is no longer sent to output panel. Yeah, I was having those issues too. So I couldn't get debug output from the headset to show up in the console, but that magically resolved itself. I think I changed some sort of setting that I just needed to reboot the machine. Yeah, all this is resolved. Now that's paddle. Nope, I don't think I need any of this. Where did I put that? It's gonna be really frustrating if I can't find it. Let me check my phone. Could have sworn I had it. One moment. No, I don't think I had it on my phone at one point. And hunting it down again will be a real pain. Oh, you know where I probably, you know where I definitely, actually I know where I have it. On my laptop I have a whole section for Godot research I'm doing. So definitely there will be a copy of it there. As well as status on the one PR that Godot has been working on. Let me check there. And I'll bring it over to the other screen so that I'm not just sitting here doing nothing. Okay, let's see. What do I have? almost there. I think the easiest way for me to copy things over is this way. Okay. I'll make this screen like sort of my battle station for this little bit of research. So these are the Unity pass-through camera samples, which include, well, it's a little bit shrunken down, but these examples here. So that's one thing. And then what else we got here? This is another one. Again, these are all Unity based. I may just use them as a reference to just generally understand how this works. But in theory, I can just request camera access. Losing track of where I am. I should be, I mean, I think I have a mechanism for requesting camera access. So in theory, I just need that and then I'm good. Okay, so this is the second one, and the second one has some other smart things you can do. This would be useful if I can detect the shape of the book and just know where the book is in space, because then I could then crop the image to that size, and that may boost performance of OCR. Just knowing that I only want OCR on a very narrow window of the screen. Let's see, what's the next one? Don't think this is gonna help, but I'll bring it over anyway. So this is the Godot Meta Toolkit, which I thought would be helpful, but setting this up seemed like a real pain. Like there was a lot of stuff you had to do on the dev dashboard in order to get this working. And most of this seemed to be useful for like monetization purposes and things, but there was something about this that I thought I needed. And then when I went to go set it up, it was just such a pain that I kind of gave up pretty quickly. Definitely something I need to do, but not something I want to be doing right now. Let's see. Meta developer docs. Developer hub. Okay. Where is this? So many tabs. I need to like close a lot of these. Or like read them and then close them. Okay, so here's one of the GitHub things that I'm looking for. So this is the implement the camera module for webcam access on all platforms from 2021, but this has mostly been asleep because people forgot about it, maybe. But then it did wake up recently, March 2nd. Okay, so nothing new since that bit of news. Just checking, because I have to imagine somebody's going to do something soon for camera access. And there have been a number of projects that have done this, but this one's the most recent, 3 weeks ago updated. GD extension plugin that extend camera server support to multiple platforms. So in theory, this would let me get camera access on the Quest. This I'm going to give a try. This is the thing I was looking for. All right, and then what's the last? I think this might be the... Yeah, okay, here's the final one. Okay, I'm just about done. Last link, here we go. Last one I care about. I'm gonna bring this over to here. So it kind of dovetails off of this other PR that's had no changes. Well, I guess this is an issue. And then this is a PR somebody opened last fall. Yeah. To add camera feed for Android and others. And then Bastion discovered it. Four days ago. Okay, so no movement on this thing, so that's fine. Which means, because there's no movement, this is my path forward. This is my, or at least my only path forward. For the moment, my only option. All right, let me close the laptop and get back to working over here. All right, let me see. Is this going to be what I need? Let me re-review this. Camera server extension is a Godot 4.4 plus plugin. Ah, come on, don't tell me. I'm on 4.3. I don't really want to upgrade right now, but I might have to. Okay, camera server to multiple platforms. Will be available in Godot once the plugin is loaded. After creating a extension instance, it can be used for checking camera access permission and making permission request. Camera server. I assume you do this in the main script. So I assume this would be, well, I added this. This didn't work. Let me delete that. Not used. I assume it would be somewhere here on ready in main. And then we would ask for camera permissions. Let's see here. Camera extension. Check permissions. Else connect to on permission result, request permission, check for feeds. Camera 2, CPU based, formats JPEG. And then did anybody open any issues? Let's see. Not activating on Android. Is checked in the following lines of code, however. Consequently, even camera feed does not become active. Maybe that's fine. The following repository is a simple camera feed tutorial. Um, 1 year ago. Okay. 11 minutes, fine. I may watch that if I'm confused. But okay, let me just see if I can go forward with this. Right. Music sounds a little loud. Okay. Sorry, where was I? So I'm gonna have to build this myself. Install Windows SDK and MSVC build tools with C++ workload. Should provide all the tools, then run scans on the project folder. It'll create a DLL. After that, you can copy the entire add-ons folder to your Godot project. Well, I need Android building though. So this looks like C++ code, I think. On Android, the format is checked in the following lines of code. However, M output format has the initial value of 0, causing the code to branch into the else block. So format is 0, false. Get field ID. Gotcha. I understand. Consequently, even when camera feed is active is true, is executed from GD script, the camera feed does not become active. So the current behavior is that set active true will return false if no format is explicitly set. Similar to what V4L2 driver does. I understand that therefore macOS is unique in that it renders even without a format specification. Feeds can be activated without specifying a format. So we have to specify a format, but like, so is that the complaint? You just need to set a format and that'll be fine. Okay, so this is the usage, but I'm gonna have to build the thing myself. Avoid upcasting. Get formats and set format will not work. What does this construct file look like? Okay, CPP path source, add-ons, if platform's Android. Huh, okay, well, should be easy enough. Fine, I guess I'll clone it. Let's do it. No time for fear. Git clone. No. Git clone, shift insert. Godot camera server extension. And let me give it a shot. CD Godot camera extension. Oh, there we go. Sconce platform. Well, let me just check. Okay, clean. History, zoom in on that in case anybody else is looking in on me. History, pipe grep sconce. Right. Sconce, platform equals Android. Is this just gonna magically work? Nope. Calling missing S construct without error. I think we have to init submodules, right? Where's my notes on this? Because I had to do this for my own GD extension. So right, so Ming W64, and then, oh, I probably need to give it the Android home path. Oh, and also I don't even know if this is going to work for 4.4, but it might. So really, did it change everything? Let me see. Interesting that, well, anyway. Yeah, so Godot CPP is empty. So I need to let me do it from the actual Git shell that I'm using. Cool. Now, I might get a better error now. Yeah, can't find Android Home. Sweet. So, now maybe it'll run. And it does. See, and I'd never done, if I hadn't done my own GD extension, that probably would have taken me forever to figure out. Well, also Android Home, that means I would have needed Android Studio, and I would have needed to figure out the whole SDK and the SDK path and the SDK version and all that stuff. And then Scones is its own little, like, okay, how do I install that? How do you use that? What does that mean? And then the Git submodule, if you've never worked with those before, that's a whole, like, why does it not work? So, as nice as it is that he has this here, his README is pretty bad. Because either he needs to provide a release, source code. I mean, maybe he does a build and provides them, but I don't think he does. Let's go. Let's take a look. Why is this going slow? Probably because I'm building right now. Wow, okay, everything is going real slow. Oh, okay, no, he does provide pre-built versions, it seems like. Well, that's nice. Oh my lord, this is going so slow. And I'm clicking on the wrong thing because my machine is going so slow. Alright, here we are. Thinking, is it still building? So I might not even need to have built this. x86, no. ARM64 is probably what I need. Wow, so he's got DLL there plus. I'm a little confused, but okay. Oh yeah, what's his license file? MIT, okay. And what's your README? Ah, opens in VS Code. I don't like that. It's just his usage. There's a GD script. Let me drag this over. Alright, so it doesn't seem like he's building releases. Although he's probably built it for 4.4. I probably, you know what, I probably need to do a build for myself anyway, because I did a git init submodule on branch 4.3. Because I'm on 4.3, I need Godot CPP 4.3. If he provided pre-built ones, they're almost certainly on Godot 4.4, since that's what he says he's supporting. which means I probably need to build my own version anyway. Gotcha. So this is that table with the platform support. And then known issues. So this is README. This README has nothing in it else. So it's kind of providing a bunch of files without explanation. Once the plugin is loaded. Yeah, he doesn't. Yeah, hence why the issues here, people saying, like, how do you use this thing? But since I can build it myself, that means if I do need to tweak anything for it to work on my setup, I should be able to, assuming this succeeds. Yeah, this is going to take forever. Just the Godot CPV part will take forever, just the first time. And once it finishes, then it'll be fast forevermore. But yeah, if I at least if I can build it myself, then I can fix any issues I run into on my own. I guess I did create my own GD extension, and instead of having it as its own separate project in its own separate repo and building it there and then copying things over, I'm building it inline. So anyway, this might be a good example for me of how I can break that code out if I want to have it live in its own repo, and if I want to make my OCR GD extension available for other people, if I choose to do that. That would be the way. Yeah. Something to think about. Let's see. Then run scans on the project folder. So you copy the add-ons folder to your Godot project, is what he's saying, after it's done building. Which I guess means, I see. So he's saying, okay, so in theory, you would just take this whole thing and move it into, let me move this here. And move it into oh, sorry. LS, where is it? Man, the building's really taking over all the resources. Yeah, because I have an add-ons folder there, and what's in there right now? Okay, so I have a GD extension, but I don't have it as like an extra add-on. I have it as its own thing, more tightly coupled. Right, so I do have add-ons here. Okay, so this would be easy. This would be easy enough to remove later as well, hopefully, since it does seem to be a proper add-on. So while I'm waiting for this to build, I could just copy -R. Or let me just open a new. It's always a little annoying to figure out the pathing with mins sys2, msys2. And I have several hard drives and other things on here, so it's kind of confusing. All right, here we are. And then where's So am I blind? Where am I going? Okay. And just out of paranoia, let me shut down Godot. I don't want it to freak out. Copy that over. And then we'll launch that again. How well does Godot natively support VR as an engine? Or do you have to build everything from scratch? Godot actually, fairly recently, like for a while now, they've been doing some pretty good VR support. And then fairly recently, they really opened things up. By the way, thank you for joining, Galaxy the Fox Hun. Hold on, Godot, I didn't want you there. I wanted you back over here because I'm answering a question. Okay, that's still building. So Godot, one of the things they did recently, oh, I'm in the wrong spot still, was, yeah, I can kill that. Let me drag this over. Where is it? I have it as a tab right here. Yeah, so the Godot Meta Toolkit was one of the things they recently came out with. So I'd say at this point, Godot very much has first-class support for VR. I mean, VR support was already pretty good. They've been working on it for a couple of years, and it's been getting better and better. I think now with Godot Meta Toolkit, I think it's just about up there in terms of like one of the, I mean, I think before you could say like maybe Unity and Unreal had better VR support in terms of tooling, but I know Meta invested a bunch of money in Godot, and over the past year and a half or so, like they've really brought it up to parity. So I think I cautiously want to say Godot probably has as good as support as Unity or Unreal, or maybe even better. With the Godot Meta Toolkit, which they released recently, this exposes Meta's SDKs, platform SDK, as well as Meta utilities for everything. So I think like anything that Meta adds, this toolkit will automatically add it as well. So that means anything at all you could possibly have access to, you'd have access to with this. And that includes microtransactions and permission access requests and like all sorts of other things that you'd want to do. How's this build going? It's compatible with Godot 4.4. Error. Okay, so it's not going to like that. I knew that was going to happen, but I figured I'd give it a shot anyway. Let me kill that. Oh, did this finish building? Cool. So if that finished building, let's remove from my add-ons directory the camera server extension, and then if I look in where is my head at? Right. So I should just be able to look at add-ons. And then there should be, yeah, there's the ARM64. So he hadn't even built ARM64, I don't think. Cool. So if I just copy -R, add-ons, camera, and then go up a directory to my project, add-ons, and then cool. So now if I start Godot, it'll probably still yell at me because I think it's going to be set up for 4.4 only, but I think I can change that. It's not to say it's going to work, but Yeah. So it says 4.4. Let's kill that again. So grep, well, let's see. Yeah. Grep minus RLS 4.4. Okay, so it is in the add-ons directory. Well, sorry, of course it would be in the add-ons directory. That doesn't matter. So .git directory, add-ons, Android build Gradle has 4.4 in it. I'll have to check that out. Let's see. Vim build Gradle / 4.4. Dependencies. Okay. Let's just change that to a 4.3. Why don't we? I mean, I got to imagine it's going to work. 4.4 didn't change that much, right? All right, and then Vim source Android camera server. Oh no, that's the .os files. We're probably okay, right? Here, let me search in here. Yeah. Why didn't I find this? Add-on. Wait, so that's... Yeah. No, I actually, that's true. I probably needed to go edit this file from here. And then what else? There's the Gradle file and the README. So that should be it. So I should be able to rebuild. And hopefully it goes really fast this time because it should have already built the Godot CPP dependency, which is really slow. Okay, and now Godot should at least not yell at me on startup. Doesn't mean it'll like the library though. Platform, Windows, file access exists path is true. GD extension dynamic library not found. Well, that's fine. I'm not going to run on Windows right now. I didn't feel like building for Windows. Right, but what's the code now? Yeah, let's copy that. And then maybe I just can do it here. Wait, can I do... Go. So this could be Godot having a problem because, you know, might as well build for Windows anyway. Scons platform equals Windows. If for no other reason, then I'll get better editor errors, maybe. That's gonna have to build everything again? Really? All right, well, whatever. This could just be Godot. Yeah, it can't find it. So it's possible I need to enable it. Sorry, that's a project level setting, not an editor level one. Yeah, let's turn it on. Okay. And then let's reboot Godot. And then it might be able to find the path for the library and stop complaining. Because I think it's working for the moment anyway. How's that build going? Yeah, still going. No, it still doesn't like it. Camera server is still not a thing. Maybe you have to build for Windows for the Godot editor to like it. Maybe. What's it needed for? So Meta recently opened up the pass-through camera API on the Meta Quest 3 and the 3S. And this means that developers can now finally request access to the camera data, which means you can do cool VR stuff. And Godot doesn't officially have support for it at the moment. Only Unity and Unreal have full support for it. But I'm trying to see if I can, like, in theory, this camera server extension would allow me to ask for permissions to the camera. And then I could use which is under the hood, the Meta Quest is just Android. It's an Android phone, effectively. And it uses the Google and Camera 2. Here's the developer docs for Android. So it uses Camera 2 and would return JPEGs. So in theory, this code would let me get a feed, take snapshot images from it, and it would let me... Actually, let me see if I can just show this. It's been a minute since I've done it. I'll just show you exactly what I'm building. Let's see. Cool. There I am casting, and so this is Reading Room VR. It's a VR app that I'm working on that extends and adds to the ambiance of reading physical books in the real world. So right now I'm using test data, which I'm trying to change today, get actual camera data coming in. But what it would let you do is you could have a physical book in front of you in the real world. I just have this button here, and again, to load the test data. And it'll do OCR. So right now what's happening on the headset, and it's a little bit slow right now because it's the first time I'm running it on the Quest. On the gaming PC that I have, it runs quite a bit faster. This takes about a minute to run. But what it's doing under the hood at the moment is it's taking that image, it's running OCR on it, it's extracting the text, it's going to display the 2 pages of book text that it found here. And then what it's also going to do is change the environment around me to match the sentiment of what's going on in the story. So in the pages that it's about to load, it actually takes place at night. And so for the proof of concept so far, I have the night sky is going to change. The night sky is going to come up in a moment. Yeah, let's go see that happen. Give it a second. It's super slow on the Quest right now. I'm certain that I can speed it up a lot. I just haven't done anything to try to optimize it. I don't know if it's effectively using the CPU. Do I need to give it more cores? Like, can I reserve memory for it? I don't know what I need to do to boost the speed of the OCR, but it should be very fast because I'm using Tesseract under the hood. So there we go. So now here's nighttime coming in, which you can't really read the text because it's super dark, and so I need to illuminate this as well. But that is what I'm building. Oh, someone's got to get banned. Hold on. And you're gone. Yes, it's very experimental. I have no idea if it's truly going to work. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get access to the pass-through camera. Maybe I have to wait a few months for Godot to officially support it. Even if I can get access to the camera, the OCR might be way too slow. I might have trouble speeding it up. Maybe I succeed at speeding it up, but then the quality, because I do have some like issues where it doesn't fully do the OCR properly. I think I can improve that, but maybe I have trouble there. So there's a number of reasons why this may still not end up working, but maybe it just means it doesn't work on the current headsets, and when they come out with the Quest 4, maybe that'll be the right time for something like this. But I've seen enough interesting demos of what pass-through can do on these headsets. Let's see, where are we? Yeah, so there's enough interesting demos of what developers on Unity. So this, I think this is probably in-house developers at Meta who put out these repos maybe. Because very quickly after they opened up the API, some of these demos popped up, like tracking OCRs, OCR tags and things, and creating little lenses and things over top of the environment. So there's a lot of cool stuff you can do. I have to imagine it's performant enough that it should be able to do OCR just fine. So I'm confident it'll work. Now, reading in VR may not be fully enjoyable, and that could be because of the weight of the headset or the quality of the lenses. And so that's a concern as well. Again, I'm going to cross these bridges as I come past them. So for the moment, I'm just going to focus on building something cool and interesting and see how far I can go with it before either it doesn't work or I succeed. Okay, so this is still complaining. Yeah, it's complaining about the Windows side of things. So make sure resources have been imported by opening the project in the editor at least once. Yeah, let me kill it and open it again. I think it's just a DLL issue. I think it's just on Windows. I need to have built the DLL. And that should be done soon. Yeah, but this is the moment of truth right now. If I can get pass-through camera data, then at least I can build something that functionally works, even if it's not going to be ready for, you know, a product that I could put out there in the world. At least if the pass-through camera works. I know I can do OCR. I know I can change the world and display things. So just starting there, and then I'll figure out what do I need to do to make it a good user experience. All right. Is that it, or is it? Let's see. Well, you know what? Let me just connect the headset, and maybe this is just a Godot complaining, but because I built it for Android, maybe it'll run just fine on the Quest 3. that one more time. Okay, so it's failing to build. Experimental, that's fine. That's not a problem. What went wrong? Transforms input file does not exist. So I probably need those .aar files, maybe? Okay, let's see. Yeah, see, he had in the zip file, he had some files that I don't have. Wonder if I just copy them over. Let's see here. Yeah, so yeah, see, he has these files here, which I'm missing. Let me see if I can just move those over, and then maybe that's all fine then. And in fact, if it's the Windows build, well, Windows build will still probably complain about 4.4. Oops, wrong folder. And then add-ons. Yeah, let's just go error by error, step by step. Oh, okay, this is good. This is almost done now. Whoa, build failed. Okay. Or is that the previous build? Yeah, okay, that was the previous build. So not failing for that anymore. Let me see here. It's taking a minute. Yeah, working with new builds is annoying because it's really slow for things to build. So it seems happier now, less errors. Installing on device. Here we go. The question is, will I get a pop-up asking me for camera permission? It's loading, thinking, crashing. What's going on? All right, I think it's just failing. It would have finished by now. Which means, actually, let me get this up, and then let me go to VS Code and grab from my notes. Yeah, this command. There we go. Okay. Cannot load a GD extension built for 4.4 using an older version of Godot. Really? But I changed all that. So again, maybe it is... Maybe it's these .aar files. I don't really know what they are. This is not done yet. It's an AAR file. Compiled code, resources, and an Android manifest. Right. Okay. So it's basically a glorified zip folder. But if I run scons, should that or should that not build that for me? I would think it would build it for me. Does he have, let's see, what's his build? This is, if you want to know how somebody builds something, go look at their GitHub actions. Build Android. So he has his architectures set up Python, scons. He's got Android. And then upload artifact. Nice. Here we go, build AAR. Java 4. And then he just calls Gradle W. Okay, I assume I can do that, but maybe I can't. Let's just do a new window. You can never have too many windows, except when you have trouble finding things. Where does he run from? His directory. Oh, working directory Android. The Android. Don't want to necessarily run that while this is running, just in case there's like a weird thing that happens. And by the way, what's inside that? Okay, this is a shell script, basically. Yeah, not basically, it is. Okay, figures out whether or not we're running an MSys or somewhere else. determine Java home. So will this work? Let's see here. What does he run? Uname? Yeah, so that uname is going to be Ming. No, Ming W. It'll do MSys. Okay. Cool. And then $Java home. We don't have Java home. Okay, so I'll have to figure out where Java. I mean, I definitely have Java somewhere. All right, and then the rest of this is just okay, that finished. You know what? Let's run this for the heck of it. Java not set. Yeah, so knew that was going to happen. Okay, so Android, where did you put your Java? Android Studio Java path. Okay, where is Android Studio? Figure out that path, export it, and use it. So, settings. Hold on. Let's drag this over here. Settings, well, its appearance, things like that. Sure, editor. Do a quick tour of these things, why not? Oh, got a whole plugin system. Okay, it's probably this. Gradle user home. Default Gradle JDK. Let's see here. That is C, program files, Android. I don't think that's going to work, but why not? Export $Java home equals. Okay. Export Java home equals shift insert. What do I have it for Android? ls/c. Okay. Export Java home equals, and maybe it's just this path. I don't know if I have to do any escape sequences or anything. Not a valid identifier. I hate doing the tedious stuff when streaming, but I have no other time when I can do this, so. Okay. Ming W64 export env var. How do I do that? Oh, yeah. Kind of exactly it. Different syntax. Oh, duh. I'm being stupid. You don't use the $sign when you do the export. It's standard Linux. Okay. Invalid directory. There we go. Okay, so I guess it wanted Windows shell kind of format, even though I already told it that it's MSys2. Maybe it did the substitute conversion itself somehow. All right, let's see here. SDK location not found. Oh. Well, fine. I already know where Android Home is. Control insert, export. Why didn't you just tell me you needed Android Home as well? And it still doesn't have anything else here, right? Okay. Nope, failed again. What's going on? This version only understands SDK XML versions up to 3. Version 4 was encountered. If you use different versions of Android Studio and the command line tools that were released at different times. Okay. Failed to transform core to match attributes. Well, that's fun. Warning. Well, did it maybe somehow build something? No. This version only understands SDK XML versions up to 3. But version 4 was encountered. If you use versions of Android Studio and the command line tools that were released at different times, but I'm not. Task, compile. Okay, so that might be. Let's see here. No, it says Godot 4.3. Open up build tab. There's somewhat hidden. Vim. And what does this have? Oh, this doesn't show as well. Let's see here. That's all fine. Gradle options. So I don't think it's an issue here at all. Let me just sanity check. Default Gradle JDK. But JDK is not Java home per se. Okay. All right, all right, all right. Android Studio Java Home. Just in case, maybe I had that correct. Incorrect. Defaults to Gradle JDK. JBR is an enhanced JDK distributed with Android Studio. How to choose a JDK to run Android Studio. We recommend that you use JBR. Okay. So that's the startup scripts for Android. Look for the JVM in the following order. Echo Studio JDK. JDK Home. Java Home is what I set. All right. It's correct. So that's not the issue. Try upgrading. Okay. This. No, I don't need that. What was the error was source compatibility, target compatibility. SDK XML. Okay. Could not resolve all files for configuration JDK image. So couldn't find the right one, maybe? Control insert. This version, yeah. Put this line in your file. Class path. Solution was to update Android SDK command line tools. Settings. SDK Tools tab. Command line tools latest. But that wasn't my issue. Solution was to update Android SDK command line tools. But after uninstalling it, by unchecking and apply, your issue is resolved. Okay. Failed real quick. Okay, so that warning went away. So this, okay, so that issue was resolved by just uninstalling and reinstalling. For me anyway. But that issue's gone now. So it's back to this issue. Compile, debug Java with JavaC. Just quickly went to the store. No, you didn't miss anything. I am struggling to build this library and just elbow deep in Android, Java, path, JDK build configuration nonsense. It is quite a boring stream. So not exactly. I really want to get to the fun stuff of this project, and I keep getting sucked back into the nonsense, the unfun parts. But thank you for hanging with me. I wouldn't judge you at all if you hopped over to another stream. I do typically stream Mondays and Wednesdays in the mornings, East Coast time. And yeah, usually when I'm not dealing with these issues, it's much more fun, like in Godot work, not dealing with build and DLLs and .so files. Let's see here. Okay, I think this is the same error I'm getting. My code, the issue, Android Studio. Under the plugins section in your settings.gradle. Oh, settings.gradle file. Is there a settings.gradle file? Ooh, okay. Let's see here. Update the line having... There's nothing in this file, really. With the following. .2. I'm on... What do I have here? 36. So what is 8.2? COM Android library. Might be command line tools. And what are they saying? This is from October. Yeah, can't hurt. I don't think that's going to be it, but... because I have no idea what those versions are. Yeah. 8.4. Interesting that it was... well, it was on an older version, so that's interesting that it didn't complain before. Hopefully maybe it'll yell at me now about not having the right version, but it'll tell me what version it's got. 8.6. Current version is 8.2. I like watching this kind of content because I can learn a lot from it. I never had the chance to study programming, even though I really wanted to. Learn from these streams. Unfortunately, I don't speak English perfectly, so there are things I don't fully understand yet. But I'm also practicing through this. Ah, that's good. Sadly, there are no such streams available in my native language. Yeah, I hear you. Well, and I think there are a lot of the coding streams, as I understand it, a lot of them do skew towards basic programming, and there's not a lot that kind of go deeper. So hopefully, I don't know, maybe that can be a little bit of my niche. I'm mostly just trying to work in public. Since I'm building this anyway, I might as well build and get feedback from others. So I'm happy to help you with English if I can. Just don't develop my accent. I don't know. I guess it's a Northeast accent, so it's fine. Yeah, and a lot of programming is dealing with, I don't know, garbage nonsense, which is what I'm dealing with right now. Just kind of trying to get things to work properly. Okay, it says I got version 8.2. Vim, Gradle. Vim, Gradle. What's in there? Wrapper. Properties, right? Yeah, what's in this file? Why not? Let's go to 8.6. I have no idea if I can even do this. I'm kind of just stabbing in the dark here. I'm not even really trying to research if this is the right solution. But it's going to download it, and we'll see if it likes it. Probably won't. But I can easily undo these changes, so it's worth a shot. I think the issue is that my Android is newer than what this was built with. COM library version 8.6. Failed to apply plugin version check. So what is this? This is, okay, let me think here. So this is Gradle building. Plugin request. Failed to apply plugin. Minimum supported Gradle version is 8.7. What am I on? But what version am I on? This is... Those are modules. Java version 21. That's Java. That's not Gradle. Or is it? I don't spend enough time doing Java these days to know. Okay, so this is just a bunch of DLLs. All right, well, this says it's 21. So that's Java version 21. I feel like I'd be playing whack-a-mole. Current version is 8.6. Try editing the distribution URL to 8.7. Okay. But why do I get the feeling if I change this to 8.7, it's going to then say, hey, you need 8.8 or you need 9. Welcome to 8.7. Java 22. Oh, that's release highlights. Okay, I'm on Java 21. It seems like anyway. No, I didn't change both files. I just changed the one. I did the suggested fix. I think it's getting further. Maybe. Done. Huh. Don't really understand what I did there. I don't spend enough time doing Java, Gradle, or Android stuff for that matter, so I'm kind of stumbling in the dark. That finished. But I don't have the files. What did it do? Here, git status-s. So I've altered the GD extension. I've messed with some settings. I've added a new add-on. It's funny that I do a git status here and it thinks I've touched everything. But at least this is kind of a list of all the files and all the directories, so I'll take it. That's the source directory. Let's do a find from the directory above, -name star.aar. That's what I'm looking for, right? Android. Oh, okay. So they are there. I just couldn't see them because I guess that build directory. That's kind of what I was expecting. If I searched for it, I would find. Let's do ls-ltr build outputs AAR 1233. So in theory, those just got built. So let me copy them. Copy both of them. And I'll go up 2 directories to my project, add-ons. Right. And I'll put them there. Hold on. I just want to be sure. 1236. Okay. So it replaced them and didn't ask me for permission to replace them. So now I've got fresh AAR files. And oh, by the way, might as well copy -R add-ons. Oh, we gotta. Let me go up a directory. Copy -R add-ons camera server. Yeah, let's do the x86. And we'll go add-ons, camera. Right. We'll put it there. Cool. So now we've added Windows support and those AARs. Let me reload Godot. And maybe, just maybe now, it'll be happy. It's still... still complaining. I mean, I could have sworn I changed everything that should have been there. All right, well, let's give it a run anyway. See if maybe somehow it magically works on Android. Probably won't, but regardless of where this ends up, I'll probably stop here to go grab lunch and stew my brain on this problem, see if I can figure it out. I'm sure I'm missing something basic. Well, it says designed for 4.4. I wonder why it has to be 4.4. I don't want to upgrade my project to 4.4 right now, but I may take a look into that. That could be the one path forward. Upgrade to 4.4, and then I can just use the vanilla stuff that he built for himself. I just don't know if everything I'm doing is compatible with 4.4 at the moment. I gotta double check all my stuff to make sure everything, all my plugins would all have to be 4.4 compatible. I just don't know. And it's probably crashing. Let's see. What's the error report? Yep. Throwing the same error. So, somehow, this thing is still 4.4 supported. Even though I initialized the Godot CPP library as 4.3. And built everything. Yeah. Hold on. grep minus RLS 4.4. Let's escape that. Just get the actual. just check something in my... I shouldn't need Android Studio anymore. Yeah, where am I? So, Git submodule. Well, this is a Git submodule add. Source Android camera server. So that's in that file. Godot CPP. Some Android stuff. Yeah, there isn't really many things here, but it's possible this version of Godot CPP. History pipe grep submodule. Or was that here? History pipe grep submodule. See, it says I ran update init. I could have sworn. All right, let's do it this way. Okay, fine. I'll just type it out. Remove minus RF. So let's force remove git modules Godot CPP git remove -s Godot CPP maybe I'll do this on the other terminal. Git remove -f Godot -cpp. Yeah. Remove .scan sign dblight. ls remove .git modules. Just clean it all out. Touch .git modules. Okay, and then now let's bring this in. cd Godot CPP. I'm just following my own instructions here, just because I know this worked for me before. Submodule update --init. And then from here, so we do have Windows there. Use Ming W. Set that to yes. And while that's running, let me run my little search again. Now it doesn't find it as much in Godot CPP. So I'm going to go ahead and say Godot CPP was set up for 4.4 by accident, even though I thought I had resolved that earlier. Now it's actually set up as a submodule on the branch of 4.3, which is what I need because my project's on Godot 4.3. Which is the other reason why I was hesitant to migrate to 4.4, because that means then I have to update my submodule, and I mean, I will update Godot to 4.4 for my project because I want to keep current with Godot as I go. But I kind of didn't want to worry about that until I've got some stable things working. At least for this week. I didn't want to think about that this week. And then maybe next week upgrade. All right. Give it a second. So again, Godot CPP's buildings. That's going to take a while. That's annoying. It's always slow the first time it does it. But now I know all the commands, so I can run that quick. I can run the Android one quick. I can then, just for the heck of it, maybe rerun the Gradle build. Although actually no. Why bother? It's really Godot CPP that I was complaining about here. So once I recopy over, it should be fine. And what does it look like in this file? ls add-ons. Cat add-ons, camera, server. Yeah, that didn't change. Yeah, I guess it probably is just the ARM64 folder that I would have to copy over. In theory, that's all I need. So it would just be the .so file, which is a glorified zip folder that probably has a bunch of Godot CPP stuff inside it. How big is that file anyway? I mean, I can't read that size. And I forget how to translate it. Oh, but I have it right here, so I have a copy of it anyway. Not big. 824 kilobytes. Okay. Do I wait for this or do I just stop here? I do want to see this succeed. I at least like to see something succeed. I was really hoping installing this plugin was going to be the quick thing, and then I would be struggling with getting the Quest to give me camera permissions. This didn't take that long, though, to run, right? It's already been running for a minute. All right, well, while that's running, let me think about what's next, assuming this works. So I'm doing the Windows build now, which means this should go away. But the Android version would still fail when I go to run it on the headset. So then I'll have to build Android as well. Godot CPP is Godot C++. So let me drag these things out. It's only needed if you're messing with what's called like a GD extension. So Godot CPP. So actually, well, let me explain it to you more visually. So I can go to the asset library here, and there's all these things you could install to work with things. So what do we have here? Godot Firebase. What is this thing? I get okay, fine. Firebase plugin. There's got to be something more interesting. Okay, so here's one. It's got some pictures. So this is like a plugin. It's an add-on for Godot, and it would actually so you can download it and install it, and it can install here as an add-on. You can see I have a couple of add-ons here. One of the add-ons I have is Terrain 3D and Sky 3D. Those are two add-ons I have. So we go to the 3D view here. Terrain gives you the ground. Sky gives you the sky. The only reason I'm using those add-ons, I could put sky and ground in the game myself, but there's a cool team of engineers who's built this like dynamic sky that'll change with time of day and everything. And so you can actually tell it. Actually, if I where do I click onto it? Where is it? It's really cool when you see it. Oh, anyway, usually you can like see in the editor. Oh, actually, it's probably right here. Anyway, yeah, so they put a lot of work into this. And so I don't want to have to rebuild that myself. This terrain, the ground terrain, that looks very simple right now. It's a simple texture, but you can actually, within the editor here, they give you a bunch of powerful tools that would let you, actually I think if I click on this, you see they have all these tools here that would let me do powerful stuff. I can make mountains, I can do all sorts of powerful things with the ground, and doing that by hand would be such a pain. So I brought those in as add-ons. The Godot has the vendors plugin, but this is for OpenXR. XR is for VR stuff. So since I'm working in VR, I need the OpenXR vendors plugin, and then there's the Godot XR tools. This camera server, that's the other add-on I'm working with right now, because Godot at the moment doesn't have native support for getting the camera data from the VR headset. If you're building a simple game, you probably don't need many add-ons. You could go and install a bunch of them yourself, but you don't need to use add-ons necessarily. You can just go in and start creating a game. You shouldn't. This is more of an advanced topic. You really shouldn't have to worry about add-ons. For the VR stuff to work, you do need a couple of add-ons for that, and then if you want to do really powerful, cool stuff with like the sky model changing and things like that, you may want to use someone's add-on. So the add-on I'm using here, this camera one, is let's see here. Where is it? Yeah, it's this project here. It's just a GD extension somebody threw up on GitHub. Now, I normally wouldn't have to build it myself. I could just copy the files into a folder, and then now I've got the extension, but it's designed for Godot 4.4. I'm not on Godot 4.4, I'm on Godot 4.3. So I have to rebuild their extension myself. Now, I also needed to build my own GD extension, my Godot extension. And so for my own project, since I'm doing OCR and I'm taking pictures and pulling the text out of those pictures, well, there's no GD extension for that. So I had to build my own. When you build your own GD extension, you have to bring in Godot CPP. And so Godot CPP is C++ bindings for Godot scripting. So when you build a GD extension, this means now you can call C++ code. Again, most of the time, if you're making a simple game, you should never have to do this. But if you either are making a very advanced game where you have a lot of performance concerns, and so you want to write a bunch of your logic directly in C++ because it's more performant, well, then you could build your own GD extension just for yourself, not for anybody else to be shared with, and just call down to the C++ code and have C++ do a bunch of work for yourself. To do that, you need Godot CPP. And the way you use Godot CPP is you bring it in as a Git submodule. That's what this little arrow here means on top of this folder, is that this has been brought in as a submodule, and in fact, it's pointing to a specific hash. Actually, I wonder if I click on this, it probably goes over to, yeah, it heads on over to Godot CPP, over to this hash, actually. So you can see the hash here, like the specific commit hash, which is the latest commit from the main branch. That probably isn't good. Should it be doing that? What did I do for mine? Let's see here. F3. Mine's kind of somewhat pinned to F3. What is F3? 3 months ago. I don't know which one that is. I don't necessarily want to be going... Well, 3 months ago. That wasn't too long ago. So F3... Oh, that is the latest. Oh, I'm sorry. Why is it like that? I would think if you brought it in as a Git submodule. When I brought it in as a Git submodule, I had it bring in this branch. And that branch... I probably need to do an update. Oh, okay. Okay. So they've made some improvements to it that I don't have currently. But anyway, so Git submodules, that's kind of how they work. Is you're bringing in like another code repo underneath. But this Godot CPP lets you call C++ code. Is basically it. Again, more of an advanced topic that you shouldn't really have to do much, but. Here I am having to work with GD extensions because I'm doing something a bit more experimental in Godot. I'm not building a vanilla project. I'm kind of building something a bit more advanced. Did this finish? So what happened here? Source window, camera feed, camera.h. Okay. Let me run that one more time, but I'm going to go ahead and say, well, I didn't use usemingw before, so let me run that again without it. But I'm guessing if I get that error again, that means I probably need to just suck it up and upgrade my project to 4.4. So I can use the vanilla builds that came out of this. Although again, I probably still need to build it for Android. Alright, I'm going to have to think on that. Decide if now is the right time for me to upgrade my project to 4.4. Otherwise, I'm kind of stuck here. Yeah, that's annoying. Maybe there was a reason why he decided that this needed to support 4.4. Let me look at his commits. Does he say anything about it? No, let's just bring it in the Godot CPP. Initial, so we started this in February. I guess if he was starting in February, 4.4 would have made sense. Yeah. And I could go look at the release docs for Godot 4.4 and see if maybe there's... They did change a lot of things in 4.4, so there might be a specific reason why this needs 4.4. I was hoping that wasn't the case. All right. I'm going to let this run and think about it. But I think for now, I'm going to stop there and come back to this later with some fresh eyes. Yeah, thanks for hanging with me. Yeah, you have a good one. Thanks for the answer. I'll check back. Yeah, Mondays and Wednesdays. Talk to you later, man. Thanks for hanging with me.